Joker, Penguin, Two-Face and Scarecrow, Catwoman, Mr. Freeze and hell, even Killer Moth. Batman's been running for decades, and most of his bad guys have got in quite early to be fair. Joker, Penguin, Catwoman and Johnny Crane are from the 40s. That's coming up to 90 years as characters, how mental is that? And with Batman having the most well-known villains in all of fiction, it's a pretty big task to introduce a new one that can match the old guard's gravitas. I'd say the only two who can hold a candle to the originals in the public mind are Harley Quinn and Bane. Bane because of what he accomplished, and Harley because people want a banger. But there's been plenty of attempts to expand the Batman's baddies, and today we're going to have a look at some of them. This one's all about quote-unquote new Batman villains. New, of course, being relative. And I hope you're not eating anything, because this first one is disgusting.
Commission.
Jesus, I'll never get used to that. I'm happy you're here, though.
What happened?
Freak accident, or so it's been made to look like. The Vic drowned in his own bathtub. We'd rule it a suicide, except for this. It's an unpaid utility bill, ironically, for water. We found it in his hand.
Just like last week's death in Chinatown. The man who was shocked to death, found with a power bill taped to his body.
Maxie Zeus and the Electrocutioner are still in Arkham. They've got alibis. Looks like Gotham's got a new killer on the loose.
Not for long.
The Dollmaker. This new 52 version of Dollmaker, I mean. Apparently there were two before him, but this one is the first to fight Batman. This dude is gross. He's from the overly edgy New 52, where Batman was fighting just the dirtiest versions of his villains. The Dollmaker was actually the one who cut Joker's face off, which started its own disturbing storyline in itself. But the Dollmaker doesn't just do weird stuff. He himself is a super freak in his own right. It always starts at childhood with these weirdos, and Dollmaker, alias Barton Mathis, is no different. His dad used to take him on hunting trips where the prey was other people, and the biggest rule of hunting is eat what you kill. Barton's dad was a cannibal who terrorized Gotham City, and this was 2 decades ago, so there was no Dark Knight detective to take him away. But you know who was patrolling Gotham back then? Jimbo Gordon. Big Jim pops a cap in his cannibal ass and calls it a day. But Barton, having watched his own father die at Gordon's hands, would not forget so easily. The following years see Jim hailed as a hero in Gotham City, but young Barton seems to disappear from foster care and grows up to be just as deranged as his dead dad. I'm warning you now, it's about to get gory. The Batman first comes into contact with Barton thanks to his oldest enemy, the Joker. After months of hunting him down, the Clown Prince is locked up in Arkham Asylum once again. Only this was apparently all a part of his plan. What a twist, never heard that before. I'm still not sure what this was meant to achieve, but Joker has Dollmaker cut off his funny looking face as a sort of rebirth. Wow, that new 52, eh? Boldly going where nobody wants to go. So obviously this gets Batman's attention. With Joker's ugly mug the only thing left of him in the cell, Gordon theorises Joker was actually murdered, but as if we'd be that lucky. With no Joker leads, the dynamic duo focus on another crime, a kidnapping. This little orphan girl named Olivia has been under police watch since getting caught up in the clown's latest crime spree. And now she's been taken from the hospital by a man Gordon's been after for years, Ray Quimby. Wanted for helping a murderer Gordon stopped early in his career. You can see where I'm going here, don't you? Guess what murderer Quimby aided? Serial killer / cannibal / dad of the year, Wesley Mathis. So Quimby, his old hat at mutilation, is connected to the little girl Joker victim, and suddenly Mr. J can't face the facts. It's looking like Quimby is the cutter, and now the GCPD might have spotted him across town. Batman decides to go and ask him. Here's where things get spooky. As the Dark Knight charges in, Gordon falls into a trap. Batman finds Ray Quimby, finds him dead. The fresh corpse tells Batman he's not alone, but where is little Olivia? And what's that awful smell? Oh! 2 rejects from the Clock Tower games slither from the shadows, knives begging for the blood of the Batman. Patchwork bogeymen tag team the Dark Knight. This is the part that knocks me sick, mate. Their masks are made of meat, human meat. They wear the flesh of their victims, and they might just get a piece of Batman before long as he's suddenly drugged and bludgeoned. And now we're in Silent Hill. One of these fellas' supervillain names is Orifice. Jesus Christ. What's the other one called? Sphincter. The gruesome threesome is about to cut Batman's ass off. But then, their dad tells them off. The Dollmaker, patriarch of this putrid paradigm, father of this filthy family. Like any true supervillain, he refuses to just kill the hero here and now, when it's easy. He probably wants Batman to die in some elaborate doll-themed death trap instead. That'll at least give him street cred. Dollmaker wants to carve up the Batman himself, but Bruce shouldn't worry. Dollmaker's had a lot of practice in mutilating. He's an artist. Here's one he made earlier, a little piece he likes to call James Gordon. Psych, got ya. That's not Jim. It's a body double made of stitched together corpses. I've nearly cut myself on this edge. The drugs in his system slowly kill the Batman, and I don't like when Batman says hell or damn. It's like he's losing his cool. Dollmaker has Gordon, and he'd have Batman too if Batman wasn't such a beast. Even drugged up and battered, the Dark Knight still manages to escape Dollmaker and his repulsive relatives. Hey, maybe Dollmaker isn't so bad. Once this grim business with Gordon concludes, he intends to take in little Olivia to give her a family. That's so nice. But that little brat doesn't appreciate it. She's Team Gordon, choosing to help him reunite with Batman and kick some ass. And Batman's already kicking ass with detective work, theorising Dollmaker to be Barton Mathis through his victims and the pieces he cut from them to form his new self, and to augment his kids. Bruce has got the who, and he might get the where soon as someone turns on the bat signal. This bit's gross. Guess whose face Dollmaker's been wearing this whole time? But Gordon doesn't recognise Daddy Dearest, even when he's looking right at him. Big D is gonna enjoy this kill. But he'd better get to work fast, cause thanks to Olivia, the Batman's on the case. How could this sweet little girl do this to her new family? Because it's all part of Dollmaker's plan, mate. She might not be blood, but she's definitely family. Isn't it weird how Gotham just has this huge abandoned hospital just sitting there? No wonder all the psychos love Gotham, all that room for activities. Oh! Dollmaker's goon chokes out the Batman. This is a bit of lazy writing. Earlier in this very issue, Bruce took on 4 Dollmaker kids at once while drugged up and he won. Now this Metamorpho wannabe wants to get him solo. Kill him now before he wakes up, Christ. God damn it, Dollmaker. He wants Batman in one piece before he slices him up himself, planning to sell bits of Bruce off individually, buy one get one free, and to prove he's the real deal to these potential buyers. The Batman must kick some clown ass. A loser dressed like the Joker is still a loser, and Batman trounces these funny-faced fakers. What's this meant to prove? Any karate man could rinse these fellas. This doesn't prove he's Batman. Meanwhile, Gordon's been prepped for surgery as soon as Dollmaker returns. Olivia reveals her part in this to Jim, but he already knew. His priority is getting her out of this nightmare and far away from Daddy Dollmaker. Jim just wants to save her. But there's been a change of plans from Mathis anyway. A new buyer for the Batman has waddled forth, and he's paying in gold. Dollmaker scraps his show and tries to hand over the Cape Crusader, but the Batman has other plans. Batman's on his tail as the Dollmaker makes his escape, but he's still up for keeping one part of his original scheme on track. is bloody revenge against James Gordon. But he should have seen to it personally, as when one of his boys tries to do the deed for him, they're backstabbed literally and figuratively by little Olivia. For a story titled Day of the Dollmaker, today is not Dollmaker's day. Batman doesn't even need the Batmobile to keep up, crashing down upon the getaway car like a bat out of hell. Is this the end of Dollmaker? Oh no, the Dollmaker was only playing. Decoys. Dollmaker and his leggy daughter escape to play another day. But, spoilers, he never truly returns. He's briefly and forever evil. Here he is, under good old Lenny Snart. But as a main villain, this was it. Oh, he does also take Joker's face and graft it to Joker's daughter, a character the New 52 absolutely ruined. Don't read that, it was crap. Dollmaker's daughter with the nice legs did menace Catwoman for a while, I believe. But even that ends with her escaping and never returning, and honestly, maybe that's for the best. Dollmaker feels like a very unnecessary addition to the Batman's rogues. Overly edgy, cannibal serial killer. He was like Hannibal Lecter stole Ragdoll's look. No, you know what, he was kinda like a Where's Professor Pig? At least Pig is funny. This was like the writer sat down to think of the most disgusting ideas he could get away with. Who's next on our most wanted list? Because I don't want to talk about this freak anymore.
Jim. Another body. Another victim of the utility bill killer.
I'm afraid so, Batman. This one's been burned to a crisp alongside his apartment. Everything's ash, except
a utility bill.
A heating bill. We've got no leads, nothing to link the victims. You got any ideas?
Just one.
I kinda like this fella's style, but holy crap. The designer, more like the over-designer. What is this costume? The designer was a mastermind who was renowned for pulling off the perfect crimes. But as the Batman will tell you, there are no perfect crimes. To be fair, he sounds like a good matchup to go against the world's greatest detective. But to make things more interesting, it wasn't the prep time Bat-God he went up against. Designer appears soon after the start of the Batman's career with an invitation for the key players of the Gotham City underworld. Back in the early days of the dynamic duo, Catwoman, Penguin, Riddler, and the Joker all received the same invitation emblazoned with a stylized B they'd all heard of in criminal legend. A ferryboat driven by a corpse drops the criminal cabal off at a ghostly mansion, where their host gives them a warm welcome. The stories are true, the fiction is fact, the designer is real. The designer likes the style of Gotham's elite evildoers, and he can relate to their constant defeats at the hands of the Batman, for he himself once had a crusading hero ruining his plans, until he decided to metagame. He humiliated his rival, and he wants to help the Batfoes do the same, using his master plans and some weird gas that seems to reanimate the dead into his puppets. To put it simply, the designer is like if the final boss rolled up in level 2. He offers his guests plans that would stump even the Batman for merely half of the paydays his plans would bring in. Sounds like a sweet deal. Bet you the Joker ruins it. Catwoman's all in, armed with a plot to steal the Wayne fortune out of nowhere. Penguin and Riddler are also happy with their designs, with Penguin getting a strategy for legitimate mayorship, and Riddler gaining a plan to make Gotham cops look like idiots. But hey, the Joker seems to be taking an awful long time in his conversation with the designer. I'm sure it's all going fine. Kill them all, screams the designer. Joker ruined it. Clearly Gotham is too deranged for the designer's designs. Oh, and also, he's dead now? That's lame. Joker shoots him. You know, I should have known the writers couldn't help but big up the clown once again. He's just a circus-themed gangster, fellas. He shouldn't be the be-all end-all of villains. United Underworld burn the house down and agree to forget that this ever happened, fuming at the missed opportunities. Well, 3 of them are anyway. The Joker just gives a smile cause his fun with the Batman is only just beginning. But if the designer's dead, Who is this enacting revenge upon the Batman's rogues gallery years later? Designer is back, and he's unleashing his specified plans upon those he designed them for. Gotham is in an uproar as a legion of assassins descend upon the Batman, including Deathstroke himself. Designer won't be able to avenge himself if Batman beats his ass up, so he's gonna have to defeat the Dark Knight alongside his villains. And first on Big D's list is the Caped Crusader's most annoying adversary, the Riddler. What I can't tell is whether or not Eddie's being mind controlled here, because he's usually this weird and off-putting anyway. Gotham City's trapped in a deadly game of crossword. Grab a pencil, Dark Knight, because answer wrong, and Gotham goes boom. How the hell did they make Riddler look so disturbing? I'd rather look at disgusting Two-Face than this nerd. It's gotta be the tight leotard, makes me very uncomfortable looking at it. How many times does Batman have to beat Eddie at his own game before he realises he's outmatched? Look at this part, it's boss. Batman is so good, he comfortably guesses answers to questions Eddie hasn't even guessed yet, even though if he guesses wrong, a bomb goes off in Gotham. He's that confident, he's that much better than the Riddler. As much as I don't like looking at Riddler's package, I do like seeing him lose his cool. Batman shuts down the Riddler, but he was only part of the problem. The real threat is the designer, and guess what? He's here, right now, and he knows the man behind the cowl. Let's see how the grand design would have gone had the clown not laughed in the designer's face. For the Penguin, a flock of assassins would eliminate the city's political leaders, and those who replace them would be loyal to Cobblepot. Ozzy takes control. The Riddler's killer crossword plot forces the GCPD into loyalty, killing Commissioner Gordon and putting Edward in charge of the city's police force. Catwoman steals the Wayne fortune, becomes Gotham's richest gal, and bankrolls any future criminal enterprise she chooses. And Joker gets the last laugh. The Batman is cut down before his prime, and through these costume goons, Gotham belongs to the designer. It would have been so easy back then, but this isn't then, it's now, and Batman draws a friggin' sword, dude. This is cool as hell. I hate when comics do a big showdown page and then cut to the end of the fight, just a scant few panels later and Batman's already won. And the reason Batman absolutely rinses this mastermind. This is not the designer. As we witnessed, the designer's been dead for years. This was the Joker, pulling a prank and using designer's own reanimation gas. But Batman doesn't get the banter. What a letdown. The supposed greatest criminal of the past never actually faces Batman. It was all just a joke. I'm not a big fan of modern Joker. I think he's overused, and I hate how he's always one step ahead. Also, nowadays, he's just a serial killer dressed like a clown. There's no showmanship or actual jokes. He just shoots people or blows them up. Death of the Family. That was crap. 3 Jokers. Crap. Now, Joker's 5-way revenge. That is a Joker story. There's a cool little tidbit as well. The great detective the designer defeated so long ago was actually one of the men Bruce Wayne wanted to teach him the art of crime fighting. But again, just like in Arkham Origins and Knight, the clown barged in and took over the story. And speaking of Arkham Knight, guess who's next?
A huge controversy was sparked today when local millionaire Bruce Wayne stated, "Taxes are for the poor."
What? Oh, you'll pay your bills, Mr. Wayne. Pay them in blood. After the disappointing final storyline of Rocksteady's masterpiece Batman Arkham series, DC attempted to adapt the titular new villain to the comics. Spoilers for Batman Arkham Knight, but they couldn't just do a one-to-one adaptation of the game character, because he was Jason Todd, the Red Hood, and already a cool character himself. So they made a brand new identity for their brand new baddie, something Rocksteady themselves should have done instead of giving us a crap under the hood ripoff. Ooh, and we're already off to a bad start. What the hell is this dialogue? Batman said fast sounds like bad man, so he needs to be stopped. Can't argue with that logic. Detective Comics issue 1000 was wasted on this. Like in the game, the Arkham Knight of the comics doesn't work alone, but instead of a ragtag militia, it's a cult of medieval madmen called the Knights of the Sun. And whatever they're up to, it's not just people who dress like bats who should worry. All the actual rats with wings in Gotham City find themselves suddenly extinct. Taking this personally, the Batman enlists Francine Langstrom to figure out what's going on, but just like her husband Kirk, Francine gets a bit too into her work. But to be fair, her idea pays off, as Woman Bat leads Bruce to Gotham Zoo's Bat exhibit, strewn with the corpses of the flying Oh, hang on. What was the point of this? We already knew the bats were dying, love. Any excuse to shoot up, eh? Junkie. Suddenly, the Dark Knight becomes a bright day. A column of fire lights up Gotham City. It wasn't explosive. Nobody was hurt. So what the hell just happened? This time, answers find Batman as he's suddenly attacked by the Knights of the Sun. Awful suits, by the way. Looks like foreskin. Did Dollmaker design these? Their costumes suck, but the weapons are enough to damage the Batman. The Arkham Knight strikes, and I take solace in the fact that this one can't possibly be worse than the video game one. Or can it? This knight sees Batman as the villain. Remember, Batman, Badman, Batman, Badman. And by their sword, they'll slay the Dragon of Gotham. Ooh, but the GCPD save the day. Batman's sidekicks in the police department shoot the knight full of holes, ending the threat and saving the day. Nah, I'm kidding, we're not that lucky, we've still got to suffer through. Arkham Knight isn't Batman's usual brand of bad guy. They've got morals. They stop the bloodshed before the police can get killed, because they're only interested in the blood of the Batman. Too many innocent at risk. Both knights decide to wait for round 2. But before then, the Caped Crusader's not the only target of these solar psychos. Robin is kidnapped while trying to retrieve a piece of the day bomb from Gotham Bay. Wasn't it weird in the game when Jason never interacted with Tim when he was so pissed off about getting replaced? Ah, focus Ryan, comic book. Like we saw with them cops, the Arkham Knight is no butcher. Deep within their not very secret headquarters of Arkham Asylum, instead of a sword, Robin is offered a hand. Join the Knights Crusade and denounce the Batman. This is Damian Wayne Robin, by the way, just in case you thought this was Stephanie Brown. Damian's escape attempt is foiled by the Arkham Knight, a squadron of swordsmen, and several supervillains. Dude, there's Hugo Strange, now there's a supervillain for you. The Knight grants Robin one final chance, and to help Damian understand, the Knight reveals who she truly is. So who is this Crusader new killer putting Gotham under siege? Oh wait, no, not yet. Instead, she's letting Robin go. She doesn't need a hostage to ensure a showdown with Batman, and hopefully this act of mercy will draw Robin away from Batman's darkness and bring him over to her side. The irony being, this cringy little Robin is far darker than Batman has ever been. Damian regroups with Batman and tells his dad all about the Arkham Knight. But of course, she wanted this. She planned for this. Batman is coming, and she's ready. As are her cult, and her secret weapons. The super criminals of Arkham Asylum. The Knight has enlisted a better class of criminal into her ranks. And look, Dr. Phosphorus is back, but this design is garbage. Why is he a pure skeleton? This doesn't make sense. Where's his organs? Anyway, AK sees her knights as rays of hope that'll penetrate the darkness that Batman uses to cloud Gotham. Seeing Batman as the evil one, I suppose in a way, she's a bit like classic Venom, but not nearly as funny. Batman and Robin bust into the asylum ready to kick some ass. But they're too late. The inmates and the cult are long gone. Everyone is, aside for Dr. Jeremiah Arkham, father of the night. So who is this crusader new killer putting Gotham under siege? Jeremiah Arkham, head doctor of the modern day asylum, once actually did have a passion for his job. Alongside the love of his life, Ingrid, they were gonna cure Gotham of insanity through love and good vibes. Until she got pregnant. Jerry feared for the kid's safety, but Ingrid refused to stop working, looking out for her patients. Her caring ways indebted her to the inmates, which come in handy during the next Arkham breakout. A new transfer broke free and started a riot, but when Gotham's super crazies saw their kind-hearted Dr. Ingrid Arkham in danger and in labour, they jumped to her defence. Arkham's finest even delivered the baby for her, Christ. It looked like it was all gonna work out nicely, until a batarang sliced Ingrid's jugular wide open. The new transfer who had started the riot has murdered Lady Arkham, and it looks like time is repeating itself for the Arkham family, just like with Mad Dog Hawkins decades before. The Bat-villains butcher the killer and return to their cells in sadness. Born to blood and delivered by lunacy, Astrid Arkham didn't have a chance. The inmates were her family, the asylum was her castle, and the Batman was the monster haunting her home. Now, Astrid is the Knight of Arkham, defending its people and fighting its monster, and soon she intends to slay the beast that's hurt everyone she loves, the demon that she believes murdered her mother, the Batman. The Knight and her Knights of the Sun put their plan into action by taking over Gotham Observatory, plotting to detonate a second sun bomb that'll banish Night from Gotham forever. I said the word night 3 times in that sentence. Unless the Batman can stop them. Bruce was already Batman before Astrid was even born, so he's got a beating experience easy. Not even Gotham's most powerful like Doc Phosphorus and whoever ARKHAM is can take a bat beating. Here's a problem I have with modern Batman writing. Last time we saw Batman fight Dr. Phosphorus, it was super close and Batman only won by using Phosphorus's own power against him. But here, Batman cracks out a gadget he had handy and it's over. Lame. Batman and Robin bust into the Knight's lair, but they're too late. Astrid ignites her new light bomb and the effects are catastrophic. The entire city is blinded as night explodes into day. Astrid thinks she's brought hope to Gotham, but all she's brought is panic as the people's eyes burn. This needs to end fast before permanent damage is done, so the dynamic duo cause some permanent damage of their own. Dude, another sword fight. Sick, I love these. Astrid tries to avenge her mother as the two knights lock swords. Batman with a sword is always boss. Remember Arkham City's final boss? Dude, focus on the book. Batman is triumphant as he smashes Astrid through the source of her blinding bomb, dishonouring the Knight's plot for good. But the thing about Night is, it always comes again. This story was a bit crap, but at least this Astrid Arkham incarnation was way better than it just being Jason Todd. We got a fresh character to challenge Batman instead of just a recolour. Sorry if I'm being dumb, but what the hell was the plan? She went on about banishing the darkness, but then just literally blinded the city. What does this accomplish? How does this help the people of Gotham? What kind of father lets their child interact with people like the Joker? Jeremiah should have never let the kid enter the asylum. You're telling me head doctor can't afford a babysitter? And it was so stupid how she thinks Batman killed her mum. Why would he kill a lovely doctor, but not the murderous psychos he's always dropping off at Arkham? Perhaps the title of Arkham Knight is just cursed to make you thick. As it stands, every Arkham Knight in the multiverse is dumb as hell. The most excited I got reading this story was on the final page when it said up next was the Spectre, but then I realised I was actually thinking of the Spook, another underrated legendary Batman villain. The cool thing about Batman bad guys is the variety. You've got guys who represent universal constants like Two-Face and Scarecrow, colourful mobsters like Penguin and Black Mask, super threats like Clayface and Ivy, and silly crooks like Killer Moth and Catman. No matter what your gimmick is, everyone fits. There are no limitations. One issue is fighting human mobsters, next he's fighting super assassins, next he's taking on a glowing skeleton man. The sky is the limit.
I used Wayne to bait you out, Utility Bill.
Darn you, Batman. No one would have ever suspected homeless old William Taxman to be the killer.
Wrong. I would. I know you lost your house and family due to an unpaid mortgage 5 years ago. I know you believe that others should pay that same price. But for all the death you've caused, this time, you will pay.